Picture this, a post-apocalyptic wasteland, dust storms ripping through the desert, and war machines clashing in a high-speed ballet of destruction. Cars flip, bodies fly, and explosions shake the ground. But here's the kicker, it's all real. These days, Hollywood has traded grit for green screens, filling blockbuster films with floaty CGI stunts that feel more like video game cutscenes than real action. But one film refused to play by those rules: Mad Max: Fury Road. Instead of taking the easy way out, director George Miller knew that practical effects hit harder, look better, and feel more real than anything a computer can generate. That's why he doubled down on real vehicles, real explosions, and some of the craziest stunt work ever put on screen. And the result? One of the most visceral, heart-pounding action films ever made. So why did Mad Max refuse to replace real stunts with CGI, and what can other filmmakers learn from it? Buckle up, because we're going to hit the gas and find out. Like this kind of content? Subscribe for more deep dives into the greatest action films ever made. There was a time when action movies felt tangible. Filmmakers had no choice but to crash real cars, choreograph real fight scenes, and blow up real sets. From the muscle cars in Bullet to the insane stunts in Die Hard, practical effects dominated the industry. But then CGI came along, and Hollywood jumped on it like a kid at a candy store. At first, it was just a tool used sparingly to enhance real footage. Jurassic Park did this masterfully. But over time, studios realized CGI was cheaper and easier than practical stunts. Why risk a stuntman's life when you can animate the whole thing? By the 2010s, CGI had swallowed Hollywood action. Films like Transformers and Fast and Furious relied on digital effects for their biggest moment. And while some of these movies were entertaining, they lacked the weight and realism of their predecessors. The problem with CGI-heavy action, it looks fake. Sure, it is cool when a car flies through the air like it is in an action figure commercial, but our brains know something's off. There's no real danger, no actual stakes, just a bunch of pixels pretending to be real. It's not just audiences who notice this disconnect. Even actors struggle with CGI-heavy sets. Instead of reacting to real explosions and stunt work, they're forced to act against green screens pretending the chaos is there. This often leads to performances that feel disconnected from the action. That's where Mad Max: Fury Road changed the game.
What's difficult is that you have this interaction with people, and because the show, the way we filmed it, was so fast-paced, very often we didn't have things like the storyboards or the images ahead of time, so we didn't know what these creatures looked like.
Before CGI took over like a tidal wave, directors relied on practical stunt work to deliver jaw-dropping action. Think about the real car chases in The French Connection, 1971, that weren't crafted on a computer but filmed in real traffic, with drivers barely dodging disaster. Or think of Jackie Chan's insane stunts in the 80s and 90s, throwing himself off buildings and slid down burning poles. These films weren't just cool, they were visceral. When a car crashed, you felt it. When a stuntman jumped off a building, you knew someone actually did that. CGI, no matter how advanced, struggles to replicate the unpredictable chaos of reality. A real car crash doesn't follow perfect arcs. A real explosion doesn't look as clean. These imperfections make action believable. Take Die Hard, 1988. When Bruce Willis runs across shattered glass, his pain is visceral because he's actually barefoot on something sharp, not real glass, but still painful. Compare that to a modern blockbuster where superheroes bounce back from skyscraper drops without a scratch. One feels more human than the other. When filmmakers commit to practical effects, this can immerse the audience in a way CGI rarely can. And that's exactly why George Miller refused to fake it in Mad Max: Fury Road.
As you have in India, there was a picture of a very famous movie, not a picture, a
poster. Yeah.
Very famous.
Miller knew that Fury Road wasn't going to be just another flashy action flick. It didn't only need to look real, it needed to feel real, raw, and authentic. He wasn't interested in creating a visually polished, CGI-infused spectacle. He wanted the audience to believe in the world they were watching. He wanted it to feel like a real death race across the wasteland. His solution? Ditch as much CGI as possible. Real stuntmen, real cars, real crashes, explosions filmed on set instead of added in post. Actors reacting to real danger, not just pretending in front of a green screen. Let's start with the war rig. In this scene, the monstrous 18-wheeler tearing through the desert was a heavily modified, fully functional vehicle built for high-speed mayhem. In the polecat scene, the guys swinging on poles between vehicles were not some Marvel superhero theme. They were actual stunt performers swinging between moving vehicles at full speed. And what do you think about the explosions and the car flips? All real. Everything you saw, done with practical pyrotechnics and precision driving. All this could not have done without well-known stunt coordinator Guy Norris. In this movie, Norris led a team of the best stunt professionals in the world, crafting sequences that felt dangerous and unpredictable. That's what makes Fury Road stand out. It wasn't just a visual effect, it was a real event.
The lead of this movie, in many ways, is a female lead, a female protagonist, which is awesome, kind of co-star in orbit, but at the same time, it leaves it open for both these characters to move forward with their own.
Actors like Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron weren't spared from the madness. They had to adjust to a completely different kind of action filmmaking. Instead of reacting to digital placeholders, they were enduring the same brutal desert conditions as their characters, facing actual wind, sand, and fire. Many of the film's most jaw-dropping stunts were done for real, which made performances more intense. So when you see fear in an actor's eyes during a high-speed chase, you bet it's because they're actually scared. Theron even admitted that the grueling shoot pushed the cast to their limits, creating real tension that translated perfectly into the film. The result? One of the most immersive, high-stakes action films of all time. When Mad Max Fury Road hit theaters, it didn't just shake the screen, it shook the whole industry. Audiences weren't just impressed. They were blown away by how real everything felt. Critics instantly hailed it as one of the greatest action films ever made. Critics praised its commitment to practical effects, and it dominated the Oscars, winning 6 awards, including Best Film Editing and Best Production Design.
Mad Max Fury Road, Colin Gibson production design, Lisa Thompson set decoration.
Unlike most CGI-heavy blockbusters, Fury Road had staying power, making the film stand out in an era drowning in CGI. George Miller's approach didn't just revive the Mad Max franchise, it sent a message to the entire industry. Filmmakers everywhere took notes by prioritizing practical effects.
The kicking off point really was a long time ago when I made one of my earlier films, Memento. And
filmmaker Christopher Nolan from the movie Tenet insisted on practical stunts whenever possible. Denis Villeneuve from Dune blends CGI with real-world locations for a more tangible experience. And Chad Stahelski from John Wick keeps action grounded with real choreography and stunt work. But Hollywood still leans too heavily on CGI. Studios see it as a cost-saving tool. But Mad Max, Fury Road proved that real stunts create a better film. Audiences feel more connections with practical action. And let's face it, real stunts make the actor's performance pop. Mad Max. Fury Road wasn't just a movie, it was a reminder of what action cinema used to be. In a Hollywood landscape drowning in weightless CGI, George Miller proved that practical effects still reign supreme. Real crashes, real fire, real stunt work. These aren't just gimmicks. They make films more immersive, more intense, and more memorable. Audiences can feel the difference when action has weight, unpredictability, and danger. That's why Fury Road still stands tall nearly a decade later, while CGI-heavy blockbusters fade into the background. The lesson? Hollywood doesn't need more pixels, it needs more guts. Filmmakers that are willing to take risks, push boundaries, and bring action back to reality. If more directors follow Miller's lead, maybe, just maybe, we'd get a return to the kind of action filmmaking that made us all fall in love with the genre in the first place. Did this video get your adrenaline pumping? Subscribe for more deep dives into the greatest action films ever made.